Console, online. HPG connection, online. Educational module, online. All systems, nominal.
Hello, class, and welcome to On the Origin of Battlemechs Podcast, episode 76. I am your host, Brent Stewart. My co-hosts today are...
I'm Joshua.
And I'm Chandler.
And today we are talking about the Crusader Part B. We are picking up right where we left off, with the Crusader being a 65-ton support missile boat as a kind of catch-all bracket for it to fall into, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 5K, which has a movement profile of 464. It has a C3 slave in the head. It's got 2 medium pulse lasers in the center torso, a medium laser in the right torso, and a medium laser in the left torso, and a MRM-30 in both the right and the left arm. It's got 11 double heat sinks and an XL engine, as well as 4 tons of ammo for the missiles, protected by a case in the left torso. And to help pay for that, it's got endo steel.
This is probably my favorite Crusader design. And if I could get this in MechWarrior Online, I would be very, very happy. And it largely comes down to 2 factors, and that's an MRM-30 in each arm.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and being a Project Phoenix design, it gets that spiffy art, specific to this model. So it's just got a gauntlet ringed around its wrists that are just missile pods, or
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Way too many tubes.
I hope you're not triggered by triskaidekaphobia.
No?
If you are, look away right now.
Yes, it's the fear of irregular holes.
Another cool thing about this one, another reason I like it, and the reason I actually looked at the Crusader in the first place, was this is the mech that features in Embers of War. It's the main character, Ezra Payne's ride. At least I assume it is, because his has 2 MRM-30s, and this is the only Crusader that runs MRM-30s.
Mm-hmm. So definitely neat taking that long and short range and just making it a medium range, which is pretty cool. And then you have the lasers to deal with the short range. It's not bad. I think it's a neat design. The jump jets definitely help. 11 double heat sinks, will keep you relatively cool, assuming you're not alpha striking, because those MRMs generate 10 heat each.
And it, especially if you're in MechWarrior Online, those MRMs, they're a lot better than people give them credit for on tabletop. They're direct fire, so you can't indirect fire them, but it's a cloud of missiles. It's a cloud of missiles. And who doesn't want to send high explosive clouds at your enemy?
Yeah.
Personally, I think if them are M's, I don't think it should have been a +1 to hit. I think it should have been a modifier to the cluster table, since the missiles don't group like they should, or should in air quotes.
Yeah,
that would be a much better rule for them. Like a -1 on the cluster table or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the 5K was seen in 3063, and it has a battle value of 1463 and a point value of 36. We then come to the Crusader 8S, seen in 3066, and S for Steiner. And what else do Steiner like? They like big guns. So this has a heavy Gauss rifle in the center and left torso. It's got an LRM-10 and a medium laser in the right arm, and same in the left arm. It's got 10 double heat sinks, and it has a movement profile of 464. It's got an XL engine and endo steel to help pay for that heavy gun, and it has 1 ton of LRM ammo and 2 tons of heavy Gauss, both protected by case, but really it's only for that LRM ammo.
It's got a heavy Gauss rifle. You know what you could replace that with?
An AC-20. I was just going to say, I feel like this Crusader is trying to be 2 different hunchbacks at the same time. Because you got that hunchback with the 2 LRM-10s and the 2 medium lasers. And then you got the no hunchback has a heavy Gauss, which that feels like an oversight. Get on that catalyst.
I mean, the extra 15 tons definitely helps out with that, because it was struggling with a regular one.
And I love how they say the heavy Gauss is in the center torso when there's only 2 out of its 13 crits in the center torso. It should really say right torso.
It has 9 critical slots. So 2 in the center torso and 11. 2 in the center torso, 9 in the left torso.
Sorry, it's 13 with the 2 tons of ammo.
Yes, of course, yes.
I mean, cool.
Yeah, the art's fun.
It definitely looks like the Hololander hit the gym and, puberty hit it real hard over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hollander looks like puberty hit it real hard because it's all tall and skinny. This is like college gym kicked in.
Yeah, fair.
This guy's got some bulk. As for its capabilities, the heavy Gauss is cool. 25 damage at 6 hexes, 20 damage at 13 hexes, and 10 damage at 20 hexes with a minimum range of 4. It hurts if you get up close, but if you get up close enough, you make it less capable. So improved heavy Gauss is really where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to your question about Hunchback and this trying to be 2 Hunchbacks. You can put a heavy Gauss on Hunchback quite easily, actually. It's kind of scary how easily that went up. Yes. I just took the 5S, ripped off the AC-20, and then put a heavy Gauss on it, and that's it. Oh, and I had to downgrade the ER mediums or the medium pulses to ER mediums, but I ended up with an extra ton somehow. So I have 3 ER mediums. It's a mech.
Yeah,
it does things.
I'm saying that's why I was saying, Catalyst, get on this. The Hunchback with a heavy Gauss or an improved heavy Gauss is one of the biggest no-brainers, I think. But we're not talking about the Hunchback.
Hey man, it's in the recognition guides eventually.
We're talking about the 8S, and it has a battle value of 1698 and a point value of 34. And now that we've stopped talking about the 8S...
If you look at the 8S, it's just a big Hunchback. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Just like the Shadowhawk's a slimmer, faster Hunchback, and the Atlas is just a Hunchback with its shoulder on its hip. Come on, everything is just a Hunchback.
We eventually will develop Chandler's scale of Hunchback quality, or
on a scale of 1 to 50 Hunchbacks.
Yeah.
How Hunchback is this? The 8S is a solid 8 on the Hunchback scale.
No, on a scale of Hunchback to Swayback, everything can be rated.
Yes, also true.
The next model came out in 3067, and that is the 7L. It has a movement profile of 353. It has a ER medium laser in the head, an ER medium laser in the center torso, a Streak SRM-4 in the center torso, a Guardian ECM in the left torso, as well as a Streak SRM-4, and then each arm has an LRM-15. It has 11 double heat sinks and stealth armor, and of course case to protect the tons of ammo in the right torso, because that's where they shoved all of it there.
It even gains a little bit of armor. It gets a couple more points off the stealth armor.
Yeah, it has a half ton over the standard designs.
Nice.
Yeah, 5 tons of ammo in the right torso. So that's the...
Do not get shot in your right torso.
Yeah, that's not the main problem for me, though, with this guy. The main problem I have with this guy is 3.5 and Capellan.
3.53.
I mean, the stealth armor also is not super great because it's only got 11 double heat sinks. So if you are starting to get in range to use those ER medium lasers, you're going to get very warm very quickly.
Yeah. The streaks, this guy obviously wants to be a pillbox because he's slow and he's got LRMs, but they really need Artemis so he can make use of them or get more use out of them, which means drop the streaks down to 2s and get Artemis on your LRM-15s. But I guess you want those bigger launchers because you're not going to be able to outrun little mechs that get up on you. So yeah, not a very good design in my opinion.
Yeah, this model doesn't shine as far as the Crusader, I think. I think it's one of those, like, on paper it looks better than it actually is.
I don't dislike it. I think the 3.53 is a sacrifice that the Capellans are willing to make because the purpose for this one is to sit back and let the stealth armor do the tanking. Like, you could fire your LRM-15s and have the stealth armor on and run and not overheat. So as long as you don't jump, you're okay. And even if you do jump, you generate 1 extra heat, which is easy to handle.
I'm absolutely sure they would have wanted to put an XL engine in here, but it's just so jam-packed full of stuff already with that stealth armor that they couldn't fit anything more in.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the Capellan Confederation in 3067?
I believe at that point they are getting back a bunch of territory in the Chaos March. They're also theoretically having just finished up annexing the St. Ives Compact, I believe, or that nearabouts.
Okay. It looks like Word of Blake got some of these 7Ls as payment for helping House Liao take over the Stike commonality. And the reason I ask is there's only one role I can really see this being competent in, and that is dedicated defense for a fixed position.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got that stealth armor. If it's a fixed position, you don't have to move to get there. You're just stationed there. You go out and climb in your mech. You walk out into your camouflaged tree hide and wait for the enemy mechs to get close, and then you shoot. So if the Capellan Confederation has just taken over the Stike commonality, if they've just finished reconquering the St. Ives Compact, then I can see them going, okay, we need something that we can use to defend our newly recovered territory. Word of Blake's setting up the Blake Protectorate around Terra, so they want defensive mechs, so they're interested in it. From a strategic standpoint, I can kind of see the design, but I'm still not a big fan. I do not like 3-5.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the opposite of what we talked about in the last episode about modern warfare is mobile warfare, and so when the clans proved to be more mobile than the Inner Sphere with their heavies, the Inner Sphere started producing more XL Engine 5.8s so that they would not lose the mobility advantage to the clans. And this guy goes the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, but I mean, he is on the opposite side of the Inner Sphere. Shrugs in Capellan, I guess. I don't know.
If the stealth mech shrugs, can you see it?
If a stealth mech shrugs inwards and the stealth arm is on, did it actually shrug?
Only if it's not doing its job right.
Also, that if the ammo goes off in that right torso, it's a 580 points of damage ammo explosion.
Oof.
So good thing it has case there.
Yeah. Also known as there is no more mech if there wasn't case.
So this guy's got a battle value of 1749 and a point value of 42. We then come to the 7W, seen in 3071. And this guy has a movement profile of 4-6. It's got a MML5 in the right torso with Artemis 4. Same in the left torso. In the right arm, it has an ER medium laser and an MML9 with Artemis 4. And same in the left arm. It has 10 double heat sinks. It has an XL gyro, an XL fusion engine. It has light ferro armor. And it has case to protect the ammo, 3 tons in the left and right torso. So it has 5 tons for the MML5 and 1 ton for the MML9. Oh, and there is 2 tons of MML ammo in the right arm as well, and in the left arm as well.
No, it's got 5 tons for both missile systems.
5 tons for both. I missed them in the arm. My bad.
Which, holy...
Yeah, this thing is armed
That's a
to
lot of
the
ammo.
teeth. Yeah.
Because you can take your smoke SRMs, you can take your Inferno SRMs, you can take your Artemis SRMs, and that's just 3 out of your 5 SRM tons. So would you like some frag some frag SRMs and I don't know, maybe a second set of Artemis SRMs for the MML5s?
Yeah.
Okay, well you need some LRM in there, I guess. So some standard LRM, or some Artemis LRM, some semi-guided LRM, some Artemis SRM, Inferno SRM, and...
Just the party platter, one of everything.
Almost.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine if they went the video game route, where in a video game it's really easy to take care of the math, so they don't bother going, okay, this is ammo type for this launcher, this is ammo type for this launcher. If it's the same launcher, like all SRMs get the same ammo bin.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at classic Battletech ammo, it's literally the same number of missiles per launcher when you multiply the number of shots by the number of tubes. It's always the same. Now imagine if you just had 10 tons of ammo for your 4 MMLs, your 2 MML9s and your 2 MML5s. Just 10 tons. Put whatever you want in there in those 10 tons and then divide them. The missile launchers will just automatically divide them up.
Yeah. That would be insane. So my question when looking at this thing is, when are you ever actually going to fire your ER medium lasers? Like when you finally run dry on ammo, on turn 40?
Never.
When you have to use them as a cutting torch to get through that locked gate.
Through that bay door?
Yes.
Why can't I just use all the SRMs to explode the bay door?
It's reactive armor.
You haven't applied enough SRM then.
So this thing is crazy and insane, and I kind of love it, but I don't think I would pilot it myself. I'd be too worried about it going up.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of that Archer with all the MMLs. Oh, what one is that?
Oh, yeah. I know the one you're talking about. But the 7W has a battle value of 1221 and a point value of 40.
I like this 7W. I like the MMLs. It's so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
You do have case, so you won't die if how many 1,000 points of ammo is that ammo explosion?
Yeah.
Sadly, MMLs are fairly inefficient for their tonnage in raw numbers, and they're not nearly as good as streak SRMs, which he's really good looking. And I think in a real world scenario, that sheer flexibility would actually make this a very, very good mech. And I probably wouldn't mind piloting it.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of classic, unfortunately, MMLs are fairly inefficient. And in Alpha Strike, just is not a lot of firepower, fortunately.
So this guy just gets rule lawyered out of being competitive, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, in a real world scenario, I think this would be an amazing generalist mech that just goes, okay, I'm giving fire support out 1 minute, and then I'm up close blasting holes and things for my buddies the next. Just what do you need? I can do it. I've got the party platter of missiles.
Yeah. So it's got a battle value of 1221 and a point value of 40. We then come to the 6M seen in 3074.
Merrick.
This guy gets a little different art, where it is very, very similar. It is slightly different, and it has more of an action-y pose.
This one looks cool. Like
Yeah.
he's the commander telling that rank of archers behind him to fire. That's his
Yeah.
pose.
You're not wrong. So the 6M has a movement profile of 355. It's got a C3 slave in the head. It has a light PPC and a MML7 in the right arm. Same in the left arm. And then it has a streak SRM4 in the left and right leg. It has case to protect the left and right torso. It's got 4 tons of MML7 ammo in the left torso, and it has 1 ton of SRM streak in the right. It's got an XL fusion engine to help pay for all that weight, and it has 10 double heat sinks. So yeah, not bad. Might get a little warm if you're firing everything off, but if you're firing everything off, you're probably either putting it down or your buddy who you're giving data to is putting it down.
Well, so assuming your streaks don't fire because they didn't get locks, and you didn't jump, but you ran, you're heat neutral.
Yeah.
So yeah, he could get a little warm, but an alpha and a jump would make him warm if both streaks went off. But an alpha and a jump is without the streaks is only a 3 heat gain, so not bad.
I mean, if we're saying they're alpha striking and they have streaks, I think that's a natural assumption to assume that the streaks did fire.
Yeah, well then it gets toasty and you're talking about a 9 heat gain. But
he's toasty boy.
But I mean, the Crusader doesn't want to be alpha striking generally. It wants to be a bracket fire.
And I think this one does a really good job at that because of those light PPCs.
Yeah.
The combination of the light PPCs and LRMs from the MML7s, and then streak SRM4s with standard SRMs out of the MML7s really lets it get back into that long range, short range style of fire. I like it. I know I said I didn't like the 353 of the 7L, I believe it was, but 355 on the tabletop, that's respectable because you can jump the 5.
Also, jumping 5, you can orientate yourself however you want on the hex grid, which means you can for sure hit someone with those streaks because they are, of course, still leg mounted.
Yep, and you're going to get that full 5 hexes of movement because you don't have to pay for facing changes while you walk. But it's also got C3 slave. So unlike that 7L that really wants to hang out at range and fire LRM 15s, and it has to do it on its own, this guy can be hanging back because he's slow. He's not going to catch up with his buddies, but when they get up there, they can provide the targeting data for him to still support them, even though he's decidedly slow for a heavy mech.
And I mean, 18 for the light PPC, 21 for the LRM. If he's getting data for close range on that, who cares if he's actually at 18? He's still going to be hitting.
Yeah, and the nice thing is if that friendly unit only has to be within 6 for it to count as short range for both of his long-range weapons.
If the person giving the data is, say, for example, 3 hexes away, what happens to the LRM data at that point? Does it just go like, oh, your minimum, or does it go like too short? I can't remember.
Sorry, repeat that.
So when you're on a C3 network and you have a minimum range with the LRMs, say the person providing you data is 3 hexes away, can you use that data for firing the LRMs? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it ignores minimum ranges are ignored with C3 as long as you are not physically within your minimum range.
Okay, yeah.
You count your physical distance to determine minimum and maximum ranges for the weapon, but you count your ally's range to the target for the range band modifier.
Yeah, just double checking because, sometimes it's been a while since you thought of that, It's like, wait, what was it again?
Yeah.
So this 6M is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like it a little bit better than the 7W, honestly. And that's just because those light PPCs match up so much better with the MMLs. I think you could do a little bit of tweaking on this guy to refine it even more, but kind of blend the 7W and the 6M.
That's fair. So this guy's got a battle value of 1373 and a point value of 37. We then come to the 8L, seen in 3083. It's got a movement profile of 5'8". It has a ER medium laser and an MML 7 in the right arm, as well as a plasma rifle. And then in the left arm, it has the same. It's got 10 double heat sinks. It's got endo steel, an XL engine, and it has case to protect the 7 tons of ammo, 3 tons of plasma rifle, and 4 tons of MML. So this is pretty sweet, and I think this is a really cool Crusader.
Except for the fact that it's really hot.
The Capellans apparently felt the same way I did about the 7L, and so they went up to 5'8" on this guy. So that's a definite step in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, the only problem with it is that you cannot fire both the plasma rifles and do anything else without overheating.
Yeah, but I mean, plasma rifles are a thing, You kind of want to go all in on if you're going.
Hey, they are a great weapon.
They absolutely are, but how powerful would it be to be able to fire the MML 7s and the plasma rifles and just drop the ER medium lasers? Like, that would be absolutely devastating.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
That would be OP.
Yeah. Okay. Hear me out, guys. You load Infernos into your MML 7s, and then you shoot Infernos and plasmas.
I think that would be almost overkill, but I like it.
I don't think you're actually allowed to do that much heat to a single unit in a single turn.
Heat? No, I don't think you are.
Well, it depends on how many people are shooting at it, because a mech can only take a maximum of 15 heat from external sources in a turn. So you would get 2 hits with the plasma rifles. Say you get 12 on those D6 rolls, then you've got the Infernos that would cap that out theoretically. But, law of averages and statistics, let's say you could put in 10 heat of damage a turn into another machine. That would hamstring that machine real quick.
So the average on a D6 is 3.5. So your
average between 2 would be 7.
Yep. Now, what's the average roll for an MML 7 on the table? I have a record.
That's a good question.
Has one of our listeners done that graph yet on his War College?
I don't think so.
I am desperately trying to remember the name of it because I want to drop it into the episode so people use it because it's really good. And
Cyan University something. It's susdi.org. I just remember Sudsy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Well, let's just have it. So we'll say it's 4 missiles or 7 hits between the two of them. Is it 2 points of heat per Inferno, or how does? I've never used Inferno missiles.
It's been a while. Yeah, I don't remember.
Man, we are bad at this whole BattleTech thing.
We are.
Because I mean, if you're using, so you're at 7 heat from the plasma rifles. You're theoretically at 7 missiles from the MMLs.
Doing a grouping, let's say for the sake of argument, you'll lose 75% of that, so we'll round it down to 4 or 5. So you would and Infernos, I think, add 1 damage, 2 heat, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, it's Infernos are just heat.
Just heat. Okay, so that would be 2 heat. So then that would be 8 to 10 additional heat theoretically on average.
So 7 from your plasmas, 8 from your MML Infernos. Yeah, you max out the heat outside sources of heat with a single salvo.
Yeah, it's 2 per missile.
So yeah, this Crusader could theoretically, if he was shooting Infernos, could theoretically in a single salvo max out the external sources of heat, which is
That not nothing.
kind of terrifying to have somebody stroll up and say, "Here, have 15 points of heat on top of whatever else you did this turn."
Another mech just walks up to you and shoves a habanero down your throat.
It's essentially what happens.
Like that one ESPN reporter who just picked up the 1,000,000 Scoville pepper and took a bite out of it.
Yep.
That was indeed a thing that happened.
That man was not okay.
Well, the 8L has a battle value of 1701 and a point value of 38. And this is definitely one that I would like to get my hands on and do some play testing with because it seems fun. Next up, we have the 7M in 3087, and it has a movement profile of 464. It's got a streak SRM4 in both the right and left leg. It's got an MML7 and a light PPC in the left arm, same in the right arm. And then we once again have the traditional nesting ground of the anti-missile system on the Crusader in the head in the unicorn horn. It's got 10 double heat sinks. It's got an XL engine and an XL gyro. It's got 6 tons of ammo protected by case 2, 3 in the left torso, 3 in the right. 4 of which is MML, 1 is streak, and 1 is anti-missile system.
The MMLs have Artemis.
So this is just a 7 or a 6M?
5M.
Yeah,
It is-
6M.
5M souped up.
Yeah, just like the next in the M line.
Well, I'm looking at the 6M has the 2 streak SRMs in the legs. It has the light PPC and the MML7 in each arm.
Mhm.
And it's 585. So this guy drops down to a 464.
It upgrades to the Artemis 4.
Or sorry, it's a 355. That jump of 5. Okay. So he upgrades to a 464 from a 355.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that Artemis is listed on the record sheet in the right arm, but it is not on the weapon listing. So thank you for pointing that out, Chandler.
Yes. Right arm and left arm.
Yes.
Huh. I wonder if I'm gonna have to build this in Skunkworks later and see if it can actually fit those Artemises.
Fair enough. I mean, I think it should be able to. And this seems pretty neat. I think it is a solid next iteration.
It does have an XL gyro
Yeah.
How much does that really save?
and an XL fusion. A couple tons, I think.
I guess the biggest savings is probably going to be from the improved jump jets going down to standard on a heavy. So you're saving 5 tons? No, 7 tons just by going from 5 improved jump jets to 4 regular jump jets on a heavy mech.
Yeah, because those critical slots.
6 tons. 6 tons. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And you also ditched the C3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4, 5. No, not quite enough to get Endo or Pharaoh on there. That would be nice.
Light Pharaoh? Do you got 7 left?
You got 10 empty slots.
Then yeah, you could throw some Light Pharaoh on there.
So yeah, no, definitely cool. I like the anti-missile system. Always happy to see an anti-missile system.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to maybe add this since it's it's mostly Free Worlds League, Marians, and Republic of the Sphere. So I guess my mercs won't get it.
Oh, come on now. They'll get plenty of salvage to the mercs now that the sphere's gone. Come on now.
But yeah, this is a nice solid one.
Mm-hmm. So this guy's got a battle value of 1502 and a point value of 38. We then have the 7M2 seen a year later, and it's got the 4.64 movement profile. It's got the MML7 and a large laser in the left arm, same in the right arm. Also in the right arm it has a machine gun, and in the head it has the anti-missile system. It's got 12 double heat sinks. Also the MML7s have Artemis 4 as well. So still protected by Case 2. Just swapping out the streaks for a machine gun and getting...
And the large lasers.
Yeah, large lasers and 2 more heat sinks.
I'm not sure how I feel. I like large lasers a lot. I like ER large lasers a lot. ER large lasers are actually one of the most heat and weight efficient weapons out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at SUDSI, Cyan University Data Sciences Institute,
Mm-hmm.
by weight, by tonnage and heat, it's the same efficiency as an ER PPC, and they're both slightly more efficient than a standard PPC for most range brackets. So large and ER large are very good weapons for lasers, but you don't have quite the range matchup with the LRMs you had with the light PPC.
Yeah, those 3 extra just really help even out that gap.
So, but you don't have that minimum range, so it's the large laser is more effective up close than the PPCs, but doesn't reach out quite as far, does a lot more damage. I don't know. Like, this is one of those things where you'd probably have to play with both variants.
Josh is undecided.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar boat on that one. I'm kind of undecided about it as well. I like the large lasers just because it keeps things at more of a standoff distance, but not sure if I like the machine gun. It just seems like kind of a child's toy at this point, really. You put a machine gun on this.
You're coming out of the Dark Ages, which was a much more combined arms focused. Infantry is a much bigger deal these days in the game, or at least in the setting. So having the machine gun makes sense from that point, and I'm not going to complain.
I'd still prefer the streaks SRMs, though. Like, is that fair? I'd still rather have the SRMs.
That and the mag shot exists.
Yeah, the mag shot would be a nice addition. The streaks, they're a lot more damage up close. They're a lot better in a heat and weight efficiency than the large lasers. But the large lasers go out to 15, and the streaks only go out to 9. So again, you're getting more firepower out to a longer range.
Fair. Can't really argue with that.
So that's why you might be right. You're probably right. Streaks are insanely good, but I don't know.
I think there's a reason why these were reduced at the same time, is because they're just different flavors of the same idea.
Yeah, like a year apart is essentially the same time.
Yeah, well, and the other interesting thing about that is the 7M is Free Worlds Republic and Marian Hegemony. The 7M2 is Free Worlds Magistracy of Canopus and Republic.
Interesting.
So for whatever reason, this went to the Magistracy while the previous version went to the Marians.
Yeah, there you go.
My guess is the reason the M2 went to the Magistracy is because the Marian raiding against the Free Worlds League. Maybe that happened in that year. I don't remember what year that happens in, but they attacked both the Magistracy and the Free Worlds League and pissed them both off, even though they both were not too happy with each other.
As is tradition.
As is traditional. Let's make the two bigger neighbors we have frenemies of us.
Yeah. Well, the 7M2 has a battle value of 1434 and a point value of 37. We then come to the 9BR, seen in 3125. So jumping forward quite a few years. We've got a movement profile of 5.8, but when the TSM is active, it can go 6.9. It's got 2 medium lasers in the left leg, same in the right leg. It's got a claw in the left arm with an LRM-10, and the same in the right arm. In the left torso, it's got a medium pulse laser, and the same in the right torso, and in the head, it has a small laser. It's got 13 double heat sinks, and a double XL engine, and an XL gyro, and case 2 to protect the single ton of LRM ammo in the right torso.
So who did Krail have a kid with?
Yeah.
Like, I'm being serious, because this is very reminiscent of his with the 2 claws.
100%.
It switches to more of a long-range armament.
Yeah, no. This is Bander Battlemech's attempt to emulate his Crusader, just much later in the time frame.
Maybe a slightly better loadout, too, because it doesn't rely on overheating
Yeah, because I think this was made for general sales.
I mean, not super plussed on that double XL engine, but other than that, this seems interesting.
Yeah, with the XL gyro, just
Yeah, and doesn't double XL add heat every time you move?
it adds one to everything.
So
Like one flat or
At
one
least
per?
one per. So like your minimum jump heat is 6, if I remember correctly. Gets kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so you generate 2 by just doing nothing, just standing there, having a good time.
Yeah.
4 for walking, 6 for running, and then jumping heat is doubled with a minimum of 6 point per jump.
And if you have improved jump jets and an XXL engine, they cancel each other out. So you go to the traditional jump jet profile of 3 minimum and then 1 for every hex.
I mean, that's a good way to have those cancel out or keep things moving along.
It's no wonder this has a TSM.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or I'm going to run, and that will generate my heat to keep me in TSM mode. Not particularly impressed with this guy.
No, it's interesting, but I think it's probably one of those prototypes that needs another revision or two.
Yeah, I could see if you ripped out the LRMs and went to SRMs or something to really turn this into an arena fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But those LRM 10s feel like they were trying to make it a mainline mech, and triple XL, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having that many X's in your mech is a bad idea.
I can't remember who I heard say it recently. XL does not stand for extra large, it stands for extra light. Well, it also stands for extra large because it takes up more room. And XXL does stand for extra large because it takes up 6 slots in each side torso.
Yeah.
That is an extra large fusion engine.
Mm-hmm. So this guy's got a battle value of 1615 and a point value of 40. We then come to our next model, the 9R in 3129, and this guy has a movement profile of 5'8". It's got an SRM 6 in each leg. It's got an LRM 15 and a light PPC and a machine gun in the left arm and the right arm. It's got 12 double heat sinks. It's got the double XL as well as an XL gyro. And it has 4 tons of ammo protected by case 2 in the right torso, 2 tons of LRM, 1 ton of SRM, and 1 ton of machine gun. So this seems like a pretty stock entry-level Crusader for the Ill Clan era, basically.
Yeah, your 3R has had the medium lasers upgraded to light PPCs.
It's a 3R squared.
Yep.
Yeah, literally.
It's got an extra large engine, so it can go 5'8", and it's got an extra large or an extra light gyro, also extra large gyro.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It's not good. It's just not good.
Yeah, this thing is just asking for something to accidentally get through the armor.
Like people complain about the old version being a funeral pyre because all of that ammo. This has all of that ammo and a extra large engine. I mean, it has case 2, so technically you're only going to take one engine hit on it.
Yeah.
But that already spikes your heat by +5 on top of your, right? It's +5 when you take an engine hit. So,
I think so.
I don't remember.
So when you're standing still, that's +7.
Yeah.
When you run, that's +11, and you're out of ammo. Your case saved your life, but you're out of ammo.
Yeah, like 2 light PPCs are not going to get you very far.
I guess you do have 2 light PPCs because you didn't lose the location. Yeah, 2 light PPCs and 2 light machine guns at that point. Like, no.
No, you lose the machine gun because of the ammo.
Oh, yeah, just 2 light PPCs.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I don't know. So if you do kick off the ammo, does it lose all of your ammo or just that 1 tonnage that got kicked off? I've never had case 2 activate, so I don't really know how it interacts at that point.
I'm pretty sure case 2 dumps all the ammo in the location.
I would assume so. If we're looking at it from a practical design, like you have the case system, which you know how much ammo you are going to be storing in there. You build it around accordingly, and if anything goes off, it just dumps everything. Like a sprinkler system, when a fire alarm goes off, it doesn't just open up the one sprinkler in the room that's on fire. It soaks everything. Safety.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm reading case 2. Interesting. Case 2 doesn't actually say what happens to the other ammo in the location. Furthermore, for any critical hits rolled up as a result of an ammunition explosion vented by Case 2, the controlling player rolls a 2d6 again for each one and disregards the critical effects on a result of 8. Otherwise, the critical hit applies as normal.
What is the effect of 8?
So if you roll an 8+, the way I'm reading this is you would Case 2 vents the one ammo location.
The one critical slot.
The one critical slot. But you also take a critical hit for that location.
Yeah, because that slot's basically destroyed. It's getting flushed.
Yes, that slot's getting flushed. You take 1 point of internal damage, which triggers a critical effect chance. So you roll to see if the Case 2 going off triggered a critical in that location. And then if it did, you roll for that location like normal. And if it hits another ammo slot, you roll 2d6, and on an 8+, you ignore it. And if you roll 7 or lower, it goes off like normal. That's how I'm reading it.
Okay.
The other way you could play it, and I'm not saying the other way would be wrong, because this wording does not make a lot of sense to me, is that first ammo explosion goes off, Case vents it, and then you go, well, there's other ammo here, which in a normal ammo explosion would have had a cascading effect, so you go through and you roll for each subsequent bin, and on an 8+ it's safe, and on a 7 or lower it goes off as normal. No more Case to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
Way worse than the first way I talked about.
Yeah. No, that seems like playing with fire.
So best case scenario, actually you take an ammo crit, you lose a ton of LRM ammo, and then you still have a ton of LRM ammo to fire, and you have your SRM ammo and your machine gun ammo, unless you roll the crit from that Case going off, hits the ammo again, and you roll lower than a 7, and it just guts the side of the mech.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, if that goes off again, you don't have Case to protect the pilot. You're going to take the full brunt of that explosion gutting the mech.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that would be listed as a catastrophic failure, right?
Yeah. I like Case 2, but now that I'm reading the rules, I don't think I would want Case 2 if I have more than a ton of ammo.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how Case 2 operates. And if it is like something you get and it technically is assigned to each tonnage of ammo, or if it's just the torso kind of thing.
Well,
I'm kind of surprised there isn't a example of this exact situation in the Battlemech manual, because it goes over like any other situation.
I don't have the BMM, so you'd have to look that up for me, but
yeah, I'm in the BMM right now and it's not helping. I mean, it is, but it's not. You know what I mean?
It's helping with a lot of things, just not this very one specific question.
You have to remember, either way, you're still taking 2 pilot hits because of ammo explosion. So it's going to be a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Case, at least Case, you'd go, okay, my torso's gone. My mech's out of the combat because I had a double XL engine here. But my pilot took his lumps, and now he's out of the fight and he survives.
Mm-hmm.
With this Case 2, it could be, cool, I survived the first explosion, but that explosion triggered a second explosion which gutted the mech and killed the pilot. Or I survived the explosion, I still have ammo left, and then I take another critical hit and the ammo goes off and there's no more Case here, so it guts the mech and kills the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's a thing. It requires further study, and I don't think we have access to that literature yet.
I'm just gonna say so far the double XL Crusaders are not looking very appealing right now.
Yeah, no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno. No.
So the 9R has a battle value of 1612 and a point value of 37. We then come to the 10S, seen in 3138, and it's got a Streak SRM6 in each leg. It's got an LRM15 and an ER medium pulse laser and a heavy machine gun in each arm. So that is a little bit of a different loadout there. It's got a XL engine. It has endo steel. It's got 14 double heat sinks. It's got 7 tons of ammo, 4 for the LRM, 2 for the Streak, and 1 for the heavy machine gun, both of which are protected by Case because this is a clan tech base. So it is it bracketed in the left and right torso section heading.
Because clans cheat and they don't pay anything for Case.
Hey, this is the Steiners cheating, if that makes you feel any better, because the Steiners made this.
Oh, okay. Good for Steiner. I don't mind the Innersphere
No.
cheating to catch up with the clans.
You, Hesperus.
This is an amazing mech. I feel calling it the 10S was a mistake. It should have been the 2 or the 20S because it's just a 2 with clan tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the only thing that would make this better is Artemis 5, but that's just asking too much at that point.
Mhm.
Or what's the clan version? Anti-personnel Gauss instead of the heavy machine guns.
Oh, AP
yeah.
Gauss, yeah.
That'd have been nice.
Yeah, but this is very strong. I really like it. I would love to get my hands on it and play with it sometimes.
Killhounds, Lyran Commonwealth, and Wolf's Dragoons. But not Mercenary Generals, so
Interesting.
us poors can lump it.
So this guy's got a battle value of 2264 and a point value of 55. So yeah, that clan tech driving up that BV there, definitely.
And the PV.
Yeah.
It's a bruiser, though.
Oh, yeah. Next up, we have the 7D, seen in 3141. It's got a movement profile of 5, 8, and then it can go 10 when the supercharger, I want to say... Yeah, supercharger, which is located in the right torso, is activated. In the left leg, it's got an MML3, same in the right leg. In the left arm, it has 2 medium re-engineered lasers and an MML3, and same in the right arm. And then in the right arm, it also has a small X pulse laser, and in the head, it has an anti-missile system.
This guy's weird.
Yeah. Inside, it's got an endo steel frame, it's got an XL engine, and a compact gyro. And then it also has 3 tons of ammo, all of which are in the center torso protected by case 2. So 1 ton of AMS and 2 tons of MML3.
I like it. It's goofy.
Which is actually quite a bit of ammo because you're using MML3s. You got 10 LRM shots per launcher, and then 8 SRM shots per launcher with 1 launcher getting to fire 1 last shot. Super goofy. Doesn't really feel Crusader-y to me because it's basically going from a missile-heavy loadout to a re-engineered laser loadout.
Yeah. So if you are not super familiar with re-engineered lasers, they have a damage of 6, they generate a heat of 6, and they have a weapons bracket of 3 for short, 6 for medium, and 9 for long.
And they basically ignore special armor.
Yes. So Pharaoh Lamb they ignore, hardened armor, reflective armor. They are brutal against hardened armor because they just ignore the double pointage effectively. They're just like, nah, you just got normal armor, brah. So, you know, those 10 points that's supposed to be 20 points of armor on that center torso is not going to save you now.
Yeah, because hardened armor halves your actual number of pips. So normally a ton of armor, standard ton of armor gives you 16 points per ton, and hardened gives you 8.
That sounds about right.
So
Yep.
if you've got hardened armor, re-engineered lasers, probably the worst thing you can imagine.
Oh, and then they also have a -1 to hit because why not?
Well, they're re-engineered to make it easier.
Yes, they shoot unicorns and rainbows. I told you this. It's true. It's all true.
Are you sure they have the -1? Because I'm reading they're treated just
They
like a standard laser. But I might be.
They didn't originally. It was a errata afterwards to give them that.
Okay.
Yeah. Battlemech Manual has them with a -1 to hit.
So the 7D has a battle value of 1681 and a point value of 44. Also good to see the X-Pulse lasers out and about every so often.
Yep. When you can't have clan pulse, X-Pulse it's got to be.
Hey, that little X-Pulse is a pretty good anti-infantry weapon. Just
It's true.
that exact noise.
Normally, X-Pulse lasers have the range bracket of a standard laser of that size. But because the small pulse laser has a non-standard range bracket, basically, compared to a standard small laser, the small X-Pulse actually has a better range than the standard small laser. Because instead of 1, 2, 3, it's 245,
Mhm.
which means the small pulse is probably the biggest upgrade of any of the X Pulse series, because it almost perfectly doubles your standard laser range, let alone the range on a traditional small pulse.
Yeah, what you're saying makes sense.
I'd never realized it before now because it's a small laser. I don't generally look at the small classes of lasers, but I just happened to see it in the record sheet here, and it kind of blew my mind that it's a 245 instead of a 123.
Yeah, no, that's legit. So coming up to our final machine of the episode, we have the CRD-8R, and we don't have a year for this one because it actually doesn't have a listing on Master Unit List, but it is in the recognition guide. So it's got a movement profile of 4-6. It's got a Streak SRM-6 in each leg. It has an LRM-15 with Artemis 4, a ER medium laser, and a machine gun in each of the arms. It's got an XL engine, it's got light ferro, it's got an XL gyro, and it has 5 tons of ammo, 3 LRM, 1 Streak, and 1 machine gun. It's got 10 double heat sinks, and yeah, this seems like a much more reliable entry-level Crusader for the Ill Clan era.
This is like a 2R2 practically. Just they traded the endo steel for an XL gyro and fusion, and then gave it light ferro.
Let's see. Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid one, and it doesn't list a date, but the TRO entry says it's a further sub-variant from the factory that produced the 5M and 7M, and both of those models continue to be offered alongside the 8R, and the 7M came out in 3087, so I'm guessing the 8R probably came out in the 3120s around the same time as the 9R.
Yeah, probably like 3115 or something.
Yeah, definitely a good Kickstarter Crusader.
Yeah, my main complaint is that it's not in Master Unit List, so I don't know what factions it's available for, and if there's a Crusader from the recognition guide that I want to take in my mech force, my Alpha Strike force, it'd probably be this guy. It's a very, very good mech, even with the XL engine and the XL gyro.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does have that case 2 to protect it, so that's not nothing.
I'm also looking at it, I'm not convinced the MML 7 variants, the 7Ms, actually have Artemis. Almost feels like it's a typo from the 8R. I'm really gonna have to plug the 7Ms in.
I made it. It fits.
Okay.
Is it real snug?
Yeah. Yeah, it fits perfectly as it should. Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Thanks, Thanos.
All right. Well, then, yeah. The 7Ms and the 8R are probably my favorite Inner Sphere tech Crusaders out of this Ill Clan guide.
Nice.
I'm going to put my vote for the 7D just because it has a bunch of re-engineered lasers. I find it goofy and I like it. The 6T is also an honorable mention.
Fair.
I was going to make a joke about the D, but I won't.
I didn't realize we were in middle school still.
The next up, we have pilot profiles, and our first pilot today is Salway Bennett Laramie. Bennett served during the Republic-Capellan War and used their 8L to great effect by baiting Republic pilots, most notably a Maelstrom pilot, by using their missile weapon systems and then overheating their opponent with the plasma rifle. Eventually, Bennett would be taken down by a clanner who had been captured and started to fight for the Republic, but was ransom backed as part of the peace deal that gave the Republic access to the 8L specifications.
I was just thinking about the 8L and tabletop. Having the double plasma rifle is not the best because of the heat issues, but in a video game where you could cycle fire them and fire them almost right after each other, it would be very good.
Yeah, it's one of the limitations of the system that's kind of unfortunate, how everything goes at the same time. You can't kind of play with your weapons the way you read about in the novels, where you kind of stagger them.
I mean, it's just amazing that it takes the exact same amount of time for every single weapon system to recharge, reload, or re-rack their missiles.
I'm telling you, it's just like The ammo bins, there's Time Lord technology involved. Next up, we have Sergeant Major Shad Keating. Shad Keating was assigned to the 11th Donegal Guards, where he proved to be an absolute shad. In 3050, and emerged as one of the few survivors of its near annihilation by Clan Jade Falcon. The first battle he was in, he was the newest member of his lance, and at the end of the battle, he was the lance commander, because he was the only surviving lance member. This, naturally, and quite reasonably, I think, gave him a burning, pathological hatred of the Falcons. He faced them again in 3064 on Graceland. For the second time, he emerged from the fighting with a promotion as one of the few members of his regiment left alive and unwounded. He had a long and successful military career, but he never came to terms with owing his two biggest breaks to his most hated enemy. Yeah?
That a thing.
Having the Falcons kill all of your mentors, and then you get promoted and become the old guy because of it, and then
Then it happening again?
Yeah, but not just your mentors, but the new guys you were supposed to keep alive.
Yeah.
They died and you got promoted again.
That'd do a thing to you.
Yeah.
That'd do a number on your head.
Okay. Next up, we have Demi Presenter Epsilon 11, Preston Mitchell. Surprisingly, Preston Mitchell is not the first of the Mitchell family to serve in the military. The first Mitchell is his great, add a few more greats on there, who died in the Battle of the Somme in 1916, along with 90% of his comrades of the Royal Newfoundland Regiment. So Preston Mitchell comes from a family of military men, to be sure. Over 1,000 years later, Preston finds himself in the enviable or unenviable position of carrying on the family tradition as a Crusader pilot in the Comm Guards. During the assault on Hesperus II by Edward Blake in 3074, he used indirect long-range missile fire to smash Blake's counterattacks as they formed. He was stationed at Draconis Combine when the word of Blake captured Terra in 3057, and he would not end up returning to his homeworld of Earth until 3078, when he and his Crusader helped liberate Singapore. So, good for you, Preston Mitchell. Way to not go over to the dang Wobbies. One thumbs up.
Not sure there's a good Comstar, but anybody who's willing to kill Blake is a good guy in my book.
I mean, was secular Comstar really that bad? Granted, we never really get to see them. They just kind of appear, and then all of a sudden the Wobbies happen.
I mean, there's still an intergalactic monopoly that prevents the development of alternative forms of communication. So...
I mean, did they prevent it? Did we give them a chance to prevent it? Because there wasn't much time for them to prevent anything before the jihad happened.
I guess that's kind of fair.
Yeah. I think Anastasius was way too focused on other things to prevent that.
I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying they weren't given the opportunity.
Yeah.
So next up we have Master Sergeant Henu the Jade Tiger Camila.
With a Y.
This pilot pilots the Crusader Fearsome Symmetry, and the Crusader is easy to spot with its blend of Weeping Starscape and Rorschach paint job. It does stand out both on the battlefield and in parade formations, but just as much as the pilot, who also sports a matching tattoo on their back. Serving as a member of the Eridani Light Horses, he rains missiles down on his enemies and then readily takes the fight to them with his armored fists when his ammo bins run dry.
All right, next up we have Brevet Major Eric Valentia. There's no I, so Valenta. Eric Valenta is a Crusader pilot with the 7th Tamarind Regulars and would take part in reclaiming Tormentine from the Marian hegemony during their incursion with the 3rd Legio. In his Crusader 7M, he personally led his battalion in tracking down any member of the 3rd Legio who took part of the brutal raid against the world 3 years earlier, and he reserved several tons of Inferno SRMs for these hunts and put them to good use incinerating everyone they cornered. This man has some issues. This man is a psychologist.
Yeah, stat.
We're giving him a gigantic 65-ton war machine. Get this man a psychologist.
So our final pilot for this evening is Salway Charles Danger Weinert. We have an official transfer request from Charles to be transferred from his current unit to the Red Lancers. The transfer has a resounding endorsement from his current commanding officer, and we have a transcript of his marks from the Liao Conservatory of Military Arts, reestablished under Capellan control in 3135, with stellar, nay, perfect marks. Our intelligence assets have also secured documents confirming confirming several things: that right before Charles graduated, the record storage facility was burned down. His family, who are influential and distant relatives to the Liao main family branch, paid for the conservatory's new Jan Wernert Performing Arts Center. He received a brand new 8R that has yet to see any action, as Charles appears to always be assigned rearguard or defensive actions.
Yes, he's a rich, spoiled brat whose parents dropped 100 million won on a performing arts center, and
For a military academy.
So he was given a brand new mech, a cushy post, all the paperwork in order, up until he was proven cowardly, and so his commander shipped him off to a new unit who's going to see lots of action, hopefully.
Indeed.
I'm surprised his nickname is Danger and not Wiener.
It's ironic.
I know, in the military, you go by your last name, and something like Wiener is just
easy pickings.
Weiner. Yeah.
Sorry, Chandler, you were saying?
Winery.
He
is a winery.
Well, hopefully whoever takes him out will get some nice salvage from his 8R.
Let's be real. He's going to get into a fight, and then as soon as the armor breaches, he's going to eject in a panic.
Is he going to wait for the armor to breach?
So yes, I would hope so. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he at least knows that much.
Fair enough. I mean, also the Red Lancers is, that's going to be fun for him, because they're a pretty, even when they're not on the front lines, they're a tough unit.
God, I want this new mech so bad. The art, I'm just staring at it at the end of the pilot profiles and the recognition guide.
It's great. It's really good art.
I need to find a Crusader. I need to find a way to put a Crusader in a unit.
Just form a Merrick unit, Orient Hussars, Regulans. I guess the Regulans are part of the Heroes League again. Andurians.
I don't think the Taurian Concordat has their own Crusader design yet. I might need to make one of those.
Dear Catalyst, for your consideration.
Just give him a 100 million yuan donation.
Yeah. You guys need a performing arts center in your office, right?
And just for you guys'
edification,
the yuan, Chinese money, is pronounced just like Huan, except without the whip. So it's yuan, not yuan.
Good to know. Now the question is, what is won in C-bills in the future? What is 100 million won? Is it a large amount of money in C-bills? Is it not a large amount in C-bills? What is the conversion during 3135?
Well, you know what they say, Chandler. Always leave them wanting more.
That one's for you, Gideon.
Our sources for today are Sarna, Battletech Battlemech Manual, Master Unit List, TRO 3039, Record Sheets 3039 Unabridged, TRO 3075, Record Sheets 3075 Age of War, TRO 3085, Project Phoenix, Record Sheets 3085 Project Phoenix, and Ill Clan Recognition Guide Volume 17. This podcast is made possible by our supporters on patreon.com/on the Origin of Battlemechs, link in the description. Our social media on Twitter is at Origin of Mechs. We also have a community Discord, the Armory of Ouroboros, link in the description. You can email us at ontheoriginofbattlemechs@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please leave a review on your platform of consumption, tell your friends about us, and share on your community platform of choice. Special thanks to my friend Laura for the intro and outro. Our Ace Pilot Patreons are currently John Keith III. Class dismissed. Everybody have a great day.
Peace out, Mech Warriors.
Stay safe out there.
Module complete. System standby. Would you like to load the next module?
Serving as a member of the Eridani Light Horse, he I misspelt something and I'm not sure what I was trying to say. Hold on.
Did you say Rorschach or Rorschach?
Rorschach.
That's Rorschach, and Rorschach
Rochambeau?
is the Jade Falcon blood name. There's an R in Rorschach.
Yeah, it's ROR.
Yeah.
So like the Watchmen superhero.
Is it pronounced Rorschach?
Or like that,
I always thought it was,
or the test, the psychological test, the much more
Yeah.
common
I thought that
thing
was
to go with on that one.
I thought you pronounced the second R, Rorschach.
I could be mispronouncing it.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever actually heard it out loud.
Anyway,
How do you spell it again?
serving as a ROR
poor Brent.
SCHACH. I didn't look up Eridani. Ha ha ha.
I believed in you. Also, you were correct, Josh.
Ah.
Chandler just letting that hang
I
there.
had to do the. I had to do the dramatic pause for effect.
For those who don't know, we just record with audio. We don't have video, so that really just did hang in the air.